Hello everyone and welcome to another video in this query formula series on Google Sheets. In the previous video we had a little bit of an introduction to the query formula and why we are trying to learn this. This is not just from the learning of a formula, but this is also to learn some fundamental data skills as well, right? So in this video we are going to be writing our first query formula query, so to speak, with the help of this data set that you are seeing on your screen right now. So let us first start by understanding the clauses. So we are going to be starting with the select keyword first. So whether it is in SQL or whether it is in the query formula, your queries will mostly start from a select. Okay, everything starts from a select because you are trying to create a new table and you are selecting the columns either as is or in a different form, in a transformed form, right? So we are going to be doing that today and we're going to see some aspects of it as well. So I have my data set over here, which is an Adidas sales data set that I picked up from Kaggle, and you can find the link of this data set in the description. So as you can see, I have shaded some columns over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table where I pick 1, 2, 3, which is retailer, region, and product as my dimension columns or the categorical variables, and I and J as our fact variable, as our fact columns or the variable columns, right? So I've shaded those over here so that we can get a good reference. So I'm going to take these columns and create a new table out of it. So I'm going to come to my tab here and I'm going to start writing the formula. So start with query. Okay, going back to the syntax reference. So we have data, we have query, and we have an optional argument called as headers. So we're not going to look at this for now. We're just going to be focusing on data and query. So the data is going to be the raw report which you have. You can select it as is, or if you have it in a named range, you can directly type the named range as well, and which is what I have. So if I just do this, and you can see that named range data, just going to hit tab, and that's over there. The next argument we're going to write is the query. Okay, so that will come within inverted commas. Okay, and we are going to now start selecting all the columns which we have shaded in the raw report. So let's kind of come here and get a reference. Okay, so we have A, D, G, I, J. These are the indexes of the alphabetical references of each of these columns, right? So I'm just going to go. So as you can see, there's a table here, but essentially that's all the columns, but we want only some columns. So to do that, I'm going to start writing the select. So I'm going to write select, and then I am going to order it in the way we've just ordered, which is A, comma, D, comma, G, comma, I, comma, J. Closing this, and you can see that we have these columns here. I'm just going to shrink. Oops, I'm just going to shrink this over here a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so we have retailer, we have region, product, unit sold, and total sales. Okay, so assume you're creating this table because you want to see the unit sold and total sales of these three dimensions. Okay, now we have the select in this format where we have called the column references, and this is the order that we have selected, but this is something that is not set in stone. You can always change the order the way that you want, and you do not have to depend on how the columns are ordered in this, because you can create a completely new table, right? For example, if I want to remove retailer and I want to add this column instead, which is sales method, as my first column, I can just come to the query, replace it. Okay, and you can always switch the orders, right? So if you want to say M, and then I'll add retailer as well. Okay, and then I'll change the order of G and D, and let's say this will become J and this will become I. So I'm completely changing the order here, and you can see now that the first column has changed. Everything is kind of moved one column away, right? And you can see some things over here. Don't worry about this formatting, we'll get back to it. But I'm just going to undo this so that we go back to our original table. Now we have this. So as you can see, we have defined the order, we have defined the columns, and we have also swapped the columns around to see how the order does not matter as long as you get the table that you want to get. So we have seen that now. Now the second aspect of this is to replace these column alphabet references into column number references. Now what does that mean? So if you come to the data set over here, and if you start counting from left to right, so you have A, this will become column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, so on and so forth. So instead of calling it as A, D, G, I, J, I can call it as column 1, column 4, column 7, 9 and 10. So let's replace these alphabetical references with the number references. And to do this, you have to write it in a separate way. So capital C, O, L, this is how it will be written, and then you'll write the number of the column. Okay, let's remove this because we don't need this now. So it will be column 1, column 4, column 7, column 9 and column 10. Now when I write this, nothing changed, right? Because we've called the same columns, but instead of calling them as A, D, G, we are calling them as column 1, column 4, column 7 and so on. When you look at it that way, both calling of either column references or number references work equally fine, and you can use whichever for whichever scenario. Maybe in certain scenarios one becomes better over the other, but if you know that you have a small data set like this and you want to do similar operations all the time without any much disruptions, alphabetical references definitely are the way to go, right? So now that's about selecting these columns. Now what if I want to select all the columns? I think we saw a small glimpse of it when we were trying to write the formula, where there was a bunch of columns that came in here. That's essentially happening because we don't put any columns. Okay, so if you just do select and space, nothing's going to come. Okay, and definitely you're not going to write each and every column in the order, right? We have till M over here, but maybe you might have 20-30 columns, and you know how you're not going to be able to write all of them. So to do that, we just use select star. Okay, so once we have select star, you have all the columns. As you can see, everything is now selected. Okay, so this is also the same for SQL. So even when you're writing select star from whatever table name you have, it's essentially saying that you select all the columns that are there as is from the table into the output itself. Okay, there's no change over there. So just to summarize, we wrote our first query today, where we tried to select certain columns based on an order, which is this one that we have. We also saw the difference between alphabet references and column number references. We also saw what happens if you delete a column and change something around, and how the table remains, right? So we've seen that, and we've also seen the select star query, where we are selecting all the columns from the table as is from the source of the data. Okay, so I hope this was useful, I hope this was helpful, and this gave you a good start into writing your own query formulas as well. So please like this video and consider subscribing to the channel for more data related content like this, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.